Well, happy Saturday. Of course, I am Callie Francois, but we're here with Keith Fusel. Keith Fusel, you hit both of your stats pick, your early pick 4 hit, your best bet, and your value play hit, I do believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Blind squirrel found a
yeah.
nut yesterday, it looks like, huh?
That
No.
is more than that. A bit more going on than that. But let's take a look at what we got going on the track. The track is fast, and the turf is, well, brown and dry because it's January, Keith.
Turf's getting a break. Going to get ready to rock and roll come springtime. But, yeah, track is fast. Dealt with a little bit of an interesting track yesterday. Early track labeled as good. Kind of horses from all over. Then a little bit of a speed lean, I thought, the last several races. You saw jockeys, especially Barbosa, getting aggressive. Barbosa with, 3 wins?
Right.
A big day for him.
A big day for
Damon with 2 and
two,
Kieran with
three.
3. So those guys, both graduates.
Damon and Karamanos with 2 as well.
Karamanos with 2, but Damon and Kieran, graduates of the International Sound School of Training. Those guys, they put out a heck of a master's plan, I guess, and they've come up through the ranks and taken it right to the track. So good job for those guys. There some impressive wins by their starters. So good to see. Those guys have been at it quite a while, and it's a kind of a team family atmosphere both of those barns.
It is. So, and we also had plenty of prices, and we hope to continue that for today. Today, of course, the first race starts that early pick 5, and that early pick 5 starts in this maiden claiming 20,000, going 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-old fillies. Scratch in the number 1, Goldiness, Keith, which all of us end up landing on the number 5, La Visa for Brittany Russell, of course, Javian Toledo. Sheldon Russell was on this one last time out. First time in the barn for Brittany Russell.
Yeah, first time in the barn and a quick drop here. Made the special way to the tag for 20. Could find a new home, definitely. Out of a race which produced a horse that came back to run pretty well, and how sweet she is. 54 and running second in maiden special weight company. Now, had a little trouble early. Went back and watched the video the other day, a little steady, and then kind of moved up in hand, shifted out, and kept on churning. There's not a whole lot of speed. That race, the early flow was not quick, but I think she'll lay a little bit closer in here and just kind of looks like she's got the best finishing punch back on Lasix as well. I think Ness will be danger with bossiness. That's the one that stays out of this entry. Lasix on. Kind of a chaser from the outside. Hasn't shown a lot of finish. But I think can chase and kind of hang on as the speeds maybe come back. Question mark the 4. Best, worst idea. That horse was scratched, I think, for a lower tag in now for the 16, this 20 down to 16. Didn't run awful in the summertime at Delaware. A hand-tying race, but a decent little middle move against Tap-In Josie. And we know how good, how good she is. She's run a couple bang-up races. So interesting little horse off the layoff here for Cesar Nambo. But I think the 4, the 5 at a shorter price should be able to kind of grind these down.
Really the obvious go-to in that race. Race number 2 kicks off the early pick 4. Keith, you hit it yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's see what you got for us today. Let's take a look.
Thought it would pay a little bit more, but it did not. But it was a profitable play. Yeah, again, $24. 1, 2, 4. A lot of these races, we talked about it before the show, Callie, they're evenly matched.
They are.
These tickets we're keeping at a minimum, but if you can add, please do so. 2-5, 2 deep in the third with the 2 and the 5, both going turf to dirt, right? If I'm correct. Race 4, the 2 and the 3, 3's over deuces. Gagetown, interesting, first time for Norman Cash, synthetic to dirt angle there. Race 5, 3, 5, 8, and 9, a real scramble of a race in race 5. Spotted Bull needs to get away a little bit better. Had some trouble early last time. I think Top Boss will stay the trip. There's your ticket for 24.
There's your ticket for 24. He hit it yesterday. Let's see if he can hit it today. Let's take a look at what race starts this early pick 4. This claiming 16, which have never won 2, going 6 furlongs on the dirt for the 4-year-old girls and up. Keith, you've got the number 2 on top, back Street Affair for Kieran McGee, J-Ron Barbosa, both each having 3 wins yesterday, and maybe they can just all tie it up together.
On the overnight, Barbosa was listed on both. He lands here. You got Arnoldo Boca Chica, rides a lot for Farrier on that speed horse from the rail. Tough for me to split these horses. It really, really was. I think Backstreet Affair comes out of a little bit better race up at Penn. There's some decent horses in there. Helly B was a horse that had won prior for Brittany Russell, went up there to kind of roll by wide. But an inside trip should be able to get forward in enough position. Speak your mind. I don't think anybody's as quick as her.
No.
It's that last 16th of a mile. Let's watch this last race, guys. Thanks for the setup there. Speak Your Mind, going first time for Farrier off the claim, and liked her this day at 5-1. This was a crushing defeat for the press box. This is when you're supposed to win, right?
Yes.
You go clear. You're setting the pace just under a light hold, and you get asked, and all of a sudden here, the legs start getting a little bit weary and just can't hold on. We'll see. First time in the barn. I'm going to give her another shot. I think she sets sail again. Might get some pressure. Pray for the USA gets the blinkers on, who's also in this race and churns on. That's the 9-horse in this particular video that we're showing. So we'll see if she can get the trip. A little bump up in class, a positive one for Tony Farrier. Yep.
That was a tough beat. So that's kind of the angle that I went off. We're coming at the 6 furlongs for the first time, but maybe Farrier has figured some things out to help this filly out a little bit. So why not? The number you also have the number 4 underneath, just to throw that name in there. Musical Cat, Jaime Rodriguez, a couple nice ones yesterday. He had 2 as well. Yeah,
Rodriguez on, very capable. Will work out a trip. Obviously, there's 2 horses from the inside. They're going to kind of go. Gwinnett could be a little bit close as well. It's the speed. I think Musical Cat's going to get that trip where moves up right into the flow. Might have to work through a little traffic, come behind a wall of horses there, top of the stretch, but she looks like turning back. She's going to have the best finish from the 3/16 pole home. So would not be a surprise if she gets it done and rolls past these leaders late.
I also take a stab at Gwinnett, the Benny Perkins horse, but Keith, you go 2, 1, 4, 8. I go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the second and the start of the early pick 4. Race number 3 is a maiden claiming 30,000, going a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 3-year-olds today. Keith, you and I both land on the number 5, Reckless Affair. Damon Deal DeVico, of course, J-Ron Barbosa. They are hot when they are together. You get first time Lasix, you get first time on the dirt, you get first time in the barn. Just a lot of attraction in that Damon Deal DeVico starter.
Yeah, I mean, we know this move. It's a positive one. It's been a profitable one. Yeah, turf to dirt. Interesting. I think the horse should be a little bit better on the dirt. Relief here. The 6 plates finisher out of that last race in California came back, returned on the dirt with a big number. Okay, a 64 for those kind of horses. So I thought anywhere close to a 60 is going to win this race. The key to this horse, had they gotten this guy to settle down, he's been difficult to ride, rank. You see the comments, pulled steady.
Right.
We'll see what he brings to the table. Lasix going on. I'll give him a shot here on this transfer from the barn and surface. A couple things to change it up here with Barbosa to kind of maybe get it done somewhere from mid-pack, because I think the speed's going to be supplied by Super Ron from the inside.
Speaking of Super Ron, you have that one underneath. This is also a horse that's trying for the dirt for the first time under the Gary Capuano barn, where Gary Capuano, first after the layoff, we know how great he is, especially recently, first after the layoff, hitting at 26%, 8 for 31 as of recent.
Yeah, we saw Shaft's Bullet yesterday. Thank you very much. That was a good one. Gary Cap and Barbosa with that wide move to get it done off the big break. But Super Run, interesting. You're looking again. I mean, there's some dirt winners within this family, so it wouldn't be a surprise for this one to go ahead get the front stretch, the speed. I'll go Reckless Affair. You know, you got a couple horses in there as well in that family that work on the dirt going along. So 5, 2, 4, 7. General JR, I think, is going to be a closer along with Hop and Scotch. 7 might get the jump, has a little bit more tactical speed than the 4.
Right. General JR has been consistent as of recently. I think turn back into this spot. We'll appreciate the 2 turns again. So a solid horse for underneath in General JR, but I go 5, 4, 7, 2. Race number 4 starts the Rainbow Pick 6 in this allowance optional claiming 55. And let's take a look at how I couldn't find a single either, Keith. I was a bit stumped, so you have to take it. Of course, if you can add wherever you can, feel free to do so. But I go 2, 3 in this race. I think it's an easy one to go for. Race number 5, I go 3 wide, and race number 6 and 7 as well. Race number 8 is an interesting enough race where I go 2 deep in that nice allowance optional claim. And actually, the really interesting enough, but also really only 2 horses to go for in Prodigy Doll and Response Time. I mean, that's a solid 2-1. I couldn't single in on that one in between the 2. And in race number, the nightcap of the day, that I could have actually gone a little bit wider. A couple of other horses have a lot to offer other than my picks, which are Gold Bar, No Time Like the Present. I also include Grand Manor and Bourbon on the Bay in my picks. But let's go ahead and carry on to the start of this Rainbow Pick 6
Okay.
affair, which is a 6 furlong dirt race and allowance optional claiming for the 4-year-olds and up. Keith, let's go ahead and click into that video that we have. You are the only one. Your top pick isn't in this one, but
No.
there are plenty of horses here underneath that just provide. That's going to provide a lot of action.
Yeah, a couple horses coming out of here, right? Exculpatory, Threes Over Deuces, Indian Lake, all out of that race on December the 10th here at lovely Laurel Park. Exculpatory came back off a little bit of a break and really sharp first time for the barn of Eddie Merriman. Goes out there 22 and 145 and 4. Just can't quite hold on. Working out a trip inside out as Threes Over Deuces. He's just been a little bit snake bit. You know he's going to bring that run from just off of it. And even Indian Lake, who kind of ranged up. So I tell you, if you can go, yeah, it was a great finish there at the 5.5. Right now we're going that extra 16th of a mile. Threes Over Deuces, man, he just, like I say, 6 for 11 in the money this year. Just hasn't gotten that win. It's been a long time. I still think he's the horse to beat, the horse to contain the last 16th of a mile. But I'm going to go with a horse that's kind of won recently, Gagetown, winner of 2 of its last 4. We know Norm Cash is not scared to reach in and spend some hefty cash on a horse. Gagetown holding pretty good form. You know, a horse that went back was in the Brad Cox barn. But I like this move. Should be dead fit to work out a trip from just off of it. I don't think he's got the speed of Exculpatory or even Threes Over Deuces, even Cadre, the stablemate. But Gagetown to kind of maybe roll from mid-pack.
I have that one underneath just because due to all of that, the back class there is, but consistent enough back class. The numbers range, the performance numbers range on this guy aren't crazy. They're not all over. They're not too all over the board. And when he does put in some of these performances, when he really sinks it, usually that's just. I've only really seen two, maybe 3 of those races where he just really throws in the towel a little bit, and then he usually comes in out of a bit of a break. We're not on that path with him right now. He's coming off of a little bit of that month-long break that he's had. So I like this move for Norman Cash with this horse, giving this horse plenty of time to come back in a really nice, fresh way. Yeah,
Exculpatory, real quick. I mean, I think it's going to be his race to lose again. He might take a little pressure. Marvelous Mike, he's got some back. He looks like he's a little bit better at Penn. He's posted some good numbers against some good horses. Maybe he sends, but Exculpatory with the blinkers off, maybe they can get him to settle just a little bit more, bring a little finish, trying to get back to that 3-year-old form. But a clear indicator of better things it looks like to come off of those prior efforts. He's been dull for a while. That race kind of got him back on track, it certainly looks like.
Race number 5 is a claiming 5,000 event for the going 7 furlongs out in the dirt for the 4-year-olds and up. Let's take a look at your top selection. Top Boss with this one is coming back with Dave Mohan, Bryson Butterfly back in the saddle again. And this team does usually pretty well together. They were hot last winter.
Yeah, they were. And I like to move back to Butterfly. You know, take nothing away from the ride last time. Was able to save ground every step of the way. That was a starter allowance. Okay, stronger field. Cairo Kid's been holding pretty good form. And the speed just carried. It was very difficult to close on January 1. This horse was inside and really finishing with good energy, I thought, visually calling that chart. Now comes back to the condition race. 7/8 of a mile, I think it's within the realm of possibilities against this group. He's got tactical speed. He was in range of better horses 2 races back. I think he stays the trip. I think he'll be put into the race on or just off of it. And to hit the board here for Top Boss. I'll throw him as my top selection. Tom terrific with a good run last time. Again, part of the flow there. December 2nd, speed was pretty good. Carried it. These two as maybe targets for a horse like Spotted Bull, who's had trouble, and a horse like this I'll Defend, who I think is going to close from the back here. Has shown no speed of late, but I think might bring a close against this group.
And this is going to be a race where I'm not going to be surprised if price shows up, which is why I went with the Linda Albert runner at 6-1. So Keith Fusel 3-8-9-5. I go 8-10-1-9. Race number 6 is a claiming 40,000 event, going 5.5 on the dirt for the 3-year-old fillies. Keith, you have the number 5 on top, Moco Gold. We've got a video spotlight on this Anthony Ferrier training. Arnaldo Boca Chica gets the call.
Yeah, Moco Gold, the last 2, some issues out of the gate. Acted a little bit better this day, and you saw the 2 races back acting up, hit the gate, and just was so far back, had no chance, but finished with good energy. Trouble again here, gets the right kind of trip. We used to hear at 10-1, and I thought, hey, we're money right now. Just a steady progression up to the leaders. You got that trio in front. Cheekiness, the 1-5 shot. Couldn't believe it. She was bet down that much.
Right.
Hadn't been asked yet, though, past the quarter pole. Moko Go made that run, tried to challenge, shifted in. Just a little flattening late. That three-back try is good enough. She's beat the right kind, Music Man Sandy, who's in here, some other horses. Lasix back on. All right. Had the win with Lasix. I'm going to give her another shot because you got two really, really quick fillies down on the inside. The one Maserati, the two Music Man Sandy. Music Man Sandy jumping up in class off of a good score. These two, I do think they hook up somewhere around the turn. And I'm looking for a horse that can just slide up into that position by the 5/16. I think that's the 5 Moko Gold, and I think it's even the 4 Angel of Canterbury. A horse Rodman is like Lasix on, blinkers on, late breaking blinkers. It wasn't not on the overnight, right? This one showed speed, rated back, and another move last time. I think it's positioned early and brings a punch. So
like
that's
that.
good. I'm looking for the horses to close into this speed.
That's an interesting way to interesting take on it. I like that because we've had certainly some horses that have been finishing well as of lately. So Keith Fustel, you go 5-3, 6-2. I go 2-1-9-5 in that claiming 40 event, and we will be right back to talk about the rest of the card after this commercial.
We're ready for the start. They're off.
And welcome back. Here we are in the 7th race, a mile and 16th on the dirt for the 4-year-old girls, and up in the starter optional 20. Keith, we both land on the number 7 game stonks for Brittany Russell. Javian Toledo gets the call today. Came back after a bit of a decent little break back in December. Just a bit of a lackluster, but my take is that this one is the type to really need a couple of races to really get things going, and today could be the day for it.
Yeah, a drop in class. It should help her run. I mean, she doesn't have a whole lot of speed, and there's not a whole lot of speed in here. Hence, I'm going to kind of use the 1, Miss Dillingham. I think Tim Tulloch has the 7 possibly.
Sorry, he does. Yes.
Okay, yep. You never get confused with my picks, though, do you?
Never.
Okay, always with them, boy. All right, I see how it rolls here. But no, game stocks I think will be a factor from the back of the pack. I'm going to go with the 2, Click to Confirm.
Yep.
We've always liked this filly. She's been all over the map, short, long,
yes.
turf. It doesn't matter, and she tries. All she does is try. She's run a lot of races here already, now newly turned 4-year-old. Got a pretty good trip here. Was chasing, eased out, and looked like she was going to bring that run from between horses and finish, but just too good there on the front end. Glow City says, see you later. Gives them the slip. Going to win by about 1.25 lengths when it's all said and done. But Click to Confirm. She can handle the 2 turns. She's got 1 target. I think she sets up shop just off of Miss Dillingham, who I probably got lined a little too high at 10. I went back and looked at it again this morning. They hold the level here, and a horse her last 2 have been bad. She's going to be all systems go from the rail, but I think Click to Confirm can track, chase, grind, and get up. We'll see. She may find a new home for 20, though, after today.
I don't disagree with that. I think she's so consistent. I just decided for a couple of others at a little, like Misty Tate, the Claudia Gonzalez runner, just 8-1, a little bit of a price right there. I just wanted to take a stab at that one over Click to Confirm, just because the filly's just been running so well and so consistent as far as Click to Confirm, but just need to we need to get her in the winner's circle, but might get some help with that with the blinkers on and dropping down in class today.
Yep, I'll throw the in. Misty Tate, I mean, that was a good run last time. She looked beaten, beaten at the 3/8 and found more. So let's go to the 8th.
Let's go to the 8th. Let's do that. Let's go to this 6 furlong dirt affair in this allowance optional claiming 55 for the 4-year-olds and up, fillies and mares. Big showdown between the 1 and the 6, Keith. Let's take a look at that video. Or the stats, on the number 6 that you have with your stats lighting up the board yesterday.
Yeah, stats were good. We can see if we hold serve here. Hammy Smith the last 2 years with response time is as the example here today. The runner 5 for 18, 28%. Pretty good. 9 for 18 the money. Allowance dirt sprints coming off of a top fig. Positive ROI of 224. Boy, she was lights out last time. She's been beaten by a couple of these, no doubt. She just looked like a different mare. Maybe everything is clicked. She has flashed talent in the past.
Yes.
I like her position here. I think she can get it on or just off the pace is needed to. I don't, you got Whiskey and Rye's quick Paisley singing. I think there's a rating gear with her, just the way she finished off. Maybe she just got off the right kind of track, good track. But I'll take another shot here, see if she can come close to pairing up.
Sure.
But Prodigy Doll here, second off the break for Phil Schoenthal. She certainly faced the right kinds. And Kayla Sars, Fiat Esprit hasn't really been embarrassed by those runners and got a good setup last time. We're going to show that video if we can. That was December the 18th. And a couple runners coming out of this race, Paisley Singing being one of them, who's going to try to stretch out off the 5.5 out to 6. Whiskey and Rye looked like she had plenty of horse right here, Cal. Going by Paisley Singing to the quarter pole, just didn't bring that punch. No. Paisley, Prodigy Doll, I should say, it kind of works a trip out in the clear, closes up, but Award wanted at that price. The higher price, Jerry Robb, gets it done.
I know.
But this is a good return try for Prodigy Doll.
It was and she needed something like that. She's had a decent campaign, running at Penn National. Just didn't really get a hold of the track. Was on the inside, was on that rail position, got a little bit discouraged. But I think out of that experience, and especially that last time out at Laurel, was able to kind of get a little bit more experience. Is going to set up for her well, but she's going to have some chasing to do, I think, in response time, as we just talked about.
Yeah, and I think she and Moody Woman, they kind of similar styles here. I think Prodigy Doll might be a little bit more tactical, but they could run as a team possibly from the quarter pole home. Moody Woman, just faced the red hot swaying to and fro there at 7/8. I like her a little bit better here. Never off the board at 6 furlongs.
You got to keep her on. You got to keep her on. Here's the nightcap that we had for Saturday here at Laurel Park. This maiden claiming 20 a one-turn mile on the dirt for the 4- and 5-year-olds. Keith, you and I both have the number 3 Gold Bar. Brittany Russell, blinkers off. Toledo back on today.
In other situations, just trying to go ahead and take an edge. Didn't really expect the speed last time. Was up there and just didn't find itself. He just kind of turned nothing, flat through the stretch. Drops, maiden special to the tag. Blinkers come off. Looked at that breeding. There's multiple sibs that were kind of out there. Could be forward. Going longer. I'll just take a shot here. This is a wide open affair. No time like the present horse you've got in there. Should be a target, no doubt about it. Bump up in class. It's a positive move. I should probably have this one in my ticket. I don't, but will not be out of my exacta boxes. Bourbon on the Bay, 5-1. Might sneak away to an okay price.
Right.
Second off a break. Attracts Barbosa. This horse is capable of some steady runs at 7. I don't think the extra furlong is going to be too much.
No, and if you go back, it's a turf event, but made some significant progress going the 1 mile, the 2-turn 1 mile here at Laurel Park. So I think really it's the horse that can prove that the distance is suited better, and I think the blinkers on is a just nice added extra effect. If you go back to also June, that 7 furlong as you just talked about, just add the blinkers on. I think that might be what this one is asking for, especially on the dirt.
Yep, Courteous is a late breaking first-time gelding. The 8 horse got that this morning. And the 6, coat and tie required here for Trombetta. First-time Trombetta, third-time gelding, a little bit of a break, just kind of even at a mile, but looks like the type that'll stay the trip with a little bit of speed to target. I think the road's going to go through this 7. You're right. Yep.
Races 1 through 9 we are covered here for Saturday at Laurel Park. Let's take a look at what else is going on and has been going on in Maryland. Well, first of all, longtime Maryland State veteran Zip passes Dr. David Zip, a regular at Maryland racetracks for more than 50 years. He did pass away in late November, but man, the history on this guy. Other than he handled the primary vet duties for the Maryland Commission for decades, but he began in August in 1965 at the Marlboro Races, which is part of the state's fair circuit. He was known for his personal commitment to health, safety, and of course welfare of the equine athletes, a recipient of the Joe Kelly Maryland Million Unsung Hero Award in 2016. He was always around in the mornings. You, Keith?
Yeah, I did not know him well.
Right.
He's a busy, always all over the place,
Yes, and that's primarily, exactly.
But, always kind enough to say hello, ask you how you were doing and everything like that. So, very, very sad. A mainstay here for a long, long time. Sad news. I honestly, I was not aware. I saw your post there on today's show, and, that's tough.
And we
Good
remember
guy.
him just a stalwart here for the vet crew in Maryland, and he will surely be missed. But one thing that hasn't been missed is the Grooms Recognition Program has really just been taking off. Just taking a look. Phoebe Hayes, who handles the Horseman's Relation for MJC, has been overseeing the program and just keeping daily records. She said that in 2022, almost 340 individual grooms won at least once. Winners
Wow.
on an average day receive a 25 gift card for each race. This is each race, and on select days, like stakes days, bigger races, sponsors will provide $100 gift cards per race. So Michelle Innick handles most of the judging, but sponsors are offered the opportunity to assist on their given days. So you get a couple of these guys, who, Cesar Cruz with 69 recognitions, David Galeos with 32, and Javier Cruz with 28. And for first place, there was a $300 gift card and a crystal trophy given to them from Allogram. So it's really nice. These are the guys that are the backbone of our industry, and it's so great that Maryland gets the opportunity and just takes the initiative to highlight these guys who are really keeping the wheel turning for us.
Yeah, they're there all hours of the day,
They
right?
are.
Doing the work behind the scenes, the unsung heroes of this business. And certainly, is it super glamorous? It's tough.
It's
I
tough.
mean, there's no doubt. The elements they deal with and the weather, bringing horses over, rain, sleet, snow, you name
Hardest
it.
workers.
Everything that they have to do, and financially, anything extra that they can get is a bonus because they deserve it. They take a lot of pride in their work. I mean, sometimes you see these grooms, they just light up. You ask them about a certain horse they got
Yes.
that connection with, and yeah, it's a shame that they don't get even more recognition.
As they
Yep.
should, but Maryland hopefully is just kind of on the
Oh,
kickstart.
we're doing a great job, yes.
We're starting the trend, which I'm very proud of for MJC
Yep.
for certainly doing that. But let's take a look also at what's going on in the stats and the leaderboard. It's early. It's early days, but let's just take a look at what's going on. Of course, J. Ron Barbosa rolling in hot. 3 wins yesterday. Jaime Rodriguez not far behind him with 2 wins yesterday. And, of course, Lopez, Caramanos, and Toledo wrapping things up for the top 5 so far. It's only the second week, but I thought I'd just highlight to see what's going on so far.
There you go.
And our trainers, Hammy Smith and Kieran McGee, are tied right now, 3 wins each. Of course, Damon DeLavigo, Brittany Russell, and Rudy Sanchez-Salmon trailing not too far behind them. But, Keith, let's take a look at your best bet and value play so far today.
Yeah, Hammy with that winner in a nightcap. Miss Fussy
Yes.
Pants, 67 buyer. That was a big,
had that one on
big
top, didn't
fig.
you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just kind
of
of
course you did.
gallop there in the last. But hey, today's a different day.
Ah.
Well, we shall see. This is a tough
I'm
card.
sure you've got something for us. Let's
Best
see what your
bet.
best bet is.
Yeah, the 2 click to confirm in race number 7, dropping in half here down to the 20. I think positional speed, and she's a she's a trier. Is she tailed off just a little bit? It looks like it, but this is the kind of race to get her confidence back. Value play, there could be lots of them today. We'll settle in race 6 with number 5, Moco Gold. I think the money's going to be kind of all over the place in this. I've got a lukewarm 3-1 morning line favorite in Basarati, very quick from the rail. But I think the setup is there back to Lasix to kind of work a trip. She just needs to behave in the gate a little bit. Hopefully she can escape that gate in the first 16th without any trouble.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood for Keith Fusel for his value play of the day in the 6th race. He hit pretty much everything yesterday as far as his stats, best bet, and value play. So we just gave it to you. Pay attention. And let's also pay attention to Dave Rodman, who's going to give us some more changes and scratches.
Okay, good luck, everybody.